Welcome back. Happy week 4 of the semester. So we have, roughly 18 weeks in the semester. Week 4 puts us at a 17% mark of completion. Um, we'll be nearing a quarter of the way through the semester at the end of the end of this week. Okay. So that's just, I always like to give you that perspective because it'll serve you both in this class and in other classes to sort of go, where am I at? How am I doing? And if you remember, right, I believe it's October, September, October, I want to say 13th is when grades pull for term 1. I'm going to just double check and look that up really quickly, just as a reminder to be keeping your eye on your grades so that you can be first and foremost learning at the level that you want. Second, and sort of the outcome of learning, obviously, is that you're receiving the grades that you want. Yeah, 1013 is the first grade pull of the semester. So we are just under 4 weeks from that mark. So I just want you to keep your eye on the prize, right? Remember that obviously grades are a reflection of your learning experience in our classes. So keep engaged, and I'll be updating grades again today, right? So anything that you completed last week, if you were absent on Monday, it would be an imperative for you to complete the kitchen safety and operations quiz independently. And you need to do that before I wrap up grading, which will probably be around lunchtime or shortly after school today, that I'll conclude my update on grading. And again, I update grading in this class on what day of the week? Monday, right? That's when I do the push into Skyward. All right. So I only do Skyward once a week. Okay. And then your grade in Google Classroom will be updated incrementally pretty much every day as you submit learning and assignments to me. I'll be updating them. So welcome to week 4. As we already know, kitchen safety and operations procedures. Have wrapped that up and taken that assessment as of last week, and we're moving into food safety and sanitation as our last essential standard before we get into labs. We do have a lab this week, but it's a non-cooking lab. But I'll wean you into what a lab feels like and how the SLAT, the Student Learning Assessment Template, works, and how you submit evidence of your learning in the SLAT. We'll do a small activity around that just to lean into that process. I've learned over the years to get you into that system slowly. So we take one step into it this week. And then next week, we are full board in labs, and we don't stop until the last week of the semester, basically. Okay. Let's go ahead and what I'd like to do is proceed with the lecture, and we've got a couple integrated activities. All right, so as you can see on our learning target whiteboards, right, we're focused on the basic application, learning, knowledge development, and application through our lab this week of food safety and sanitation principles. So this is probably, I would say, the most important lesson of this semester, okay, this week's the material that we're covering. So we'll start off with an activity, and then we'll migrate through the content in the next couple of days, and then we'll wrap up the week with an assessment, and we'll do the lab, and I'll reinvigorate your understanding of the student learning assessment template because you'll be doing that as part of the lab. So here we go. Again, learning target I, and we will learn and apply basic food safety and sanitation principles. All right, what we're going to do now is what's called Food Safety Showdown. I'm going to take
Building your online business? Go to Wix.com and set up your store.
All right, so this is a video overview related to the most important principles. Now, one of the things, listen up, please. One of the things that I'll do this semester is I will give you an opportunity. We want to add value to you. We have what's called an IRC, an industry recognized credential, that if you take 2 credits in the culinary arts program, that includes the food science class that Ms. Schultz teaches. If you take that as 1 credit, and then 2 of my half-year-long classes, or the advanced classes a full year long, if you take those combined in the 2 credits and do the IRC and complete it, you'll meet the graduation testing requirement. So that's a pathway for you, right? If you have more questions about that, some of us maybe don't test well. That's a stressful situation. So this is another pathway for you to meet that graduation requirement. So I say that in that I will give you an opportunity to take the food handler's card test, and we will pay the $10 for your registration for that. So that'll be coming up a little bit later in the semester.
2 chefs, 3 kitchens, 1 objective: to stay safe and prevent costly injuries. In each round, our chefs will compete to see who's got the chops when it comes to avoiding these common kitchen hazards. Calling the play-by-play, Safe's very own Courtney Marriott and Edgar Garcia Ramirez.
Now let's meet the competitors.
Straight from the freezer, it's the Iceman. But will he melt under pressure? Known as the Heat, she's a seasoned professional. But will this competition be too hot to handle? Tensions have reached the boiling point. Who will make the cut? Get ready for Kitchen Safety Showdown!
We're here in the kitchen of a busy downtown restaurant to get some tips on avoiding painful cuts and burns.
Our chefs are sharpening their knives. That's a good sign, because believe it or not, a dull knife is more dangerous than a sharp one. Fingers tucked.
And you're going to find some of this content right from Kitchen Safety and Operations is a review, but we're transitioning into food safety sanitation. So all of this in the context of serving safe food is how we're looking at this now.
The Iceman is demonstrating great technique.
But the Heat wins the first point for taking the extra precaution of wearing a protective glove.
He's really putting some muscle behind that chop.
Yeah, maybe too much. That chopping board looks unsafe.
Wait, what's this?
A slightly wet towel placed under the cutting board can prevent it from slipping.
Good thinking, Heat.
Choosing the right knife is important, not just for looks, but for safety. A serrated knife is best for slicing through thin skin without crushing the tomato.
Uh-oh, the Heat is hesitating.
Hello, everybody, and welcome.
Oh, what a mess! Nice assist! Score 1 for the Iceman. Remember to always choose the right tool for the job.
That's right, Iceman. Never leave a knife in a sudsy sink.
Or loose in a drawer. And he finishes with the easy layup.
The score is tied 2-2. Now, let's see how our chefs are doing at the stove.
Uh-oh, not so good. The Heat's loose towel and hair could catch fire.
That's better. So neat and tidy. I'm impressed.
Is the Heat losing her cool? That flame is dangerously high. Notice how the flame covers only the bottom portion of the pan. Much safer.
Ouch! That's gotta hurt.
Nice use of the oven mitt.
Up in corner.
The Iceman has taken a commanding lead. But can he handle the heat from this deep fryer?
Wow, he's getting awfully close to the hot oil.
Hey, use this.
A long-handled tool is a better choice, but to really play it safe and prevent burns, he should also consider wearing fryer gloves.
Holy smokes! Is the Iceman gonna drain that boiling hot oil before it has time to cool?
Excellent use of the timeout.
The score is tied.
The pressure's on. For the round-winning point, our chefs must choose the safest way to move this heavy pot of simmering sauce.
What's this? He's bringing in backup? Good call by the Iceman.
And he ices this round.
T-Mobile savings, take one.
Miss me.
Try just standing and say, at T-Mobile, you get tons of benefits and you can still save.
I love
Welcome back to Kitchen Safety Showdown.
In this round, we're visiting Dicky Joe's, where we'll learn about how to avoid painful falls and strains.
It's a tight squeeze in there. So communication is essential in the kitchen.
Now let's meet our competitors.
The Heat and the Iceman are ready to mix it up in round 2.
Next to cuts, slips, trips, and falls are a leading cause in restaurant injuries.
So what's one way we can prevent them?
That's right, slip-resistant shoes. Your first step in kitchen safety. That's funny, right?
Spills are a common hazard in a busy kitchen. Wearing flimsy footwear, like flip-flops, is a recipe for disaster.
Good shoes are important. Also, be sure to clean up spills immediately.
And the Iceman mops up another easy point.
Uh-oh, looks like he can't see where he's going.
Nice save by the Heat. Be sure to keep your walkways clear and avoid carrying a load that blocks your view.
I don't think that milk crate is going to hold his weight.
And it could easily tip over.
A step stool is a much safer choice.
The score is tied. Let's see how well our competitors handle muscle strains, another common kitchen complaint.
Hoisting that heavy load above shoulder height is a bad idea.
And bending down low isn't much better.
Ooh, looks like the Iceman could use an ice down.
And maybe some lessons on safe lifting from the Heat.
If you're doing something that requires repetitive motion, like whisking or chopping, rotate tasks with a coworker whenever possible.
Or let a machine do it for you. Consolation point to the Heat for cooling her heels with that anti-fatigue mat.
And that's the icing on the cake.
And a sweet victory for the Heat. Welcome back to Kitchen Safety Showdown. A busy hospital like this one prepares hundreds of meals every day.
And like any commercial kitchen, it can be a minefield of safety hazards.
Good thing there are doctors nearby.
In this round, the Iceman and the Heat will show us how to work safely around kitchen machines and chemicals.
First, some ground rules. You must be at least 18 to operate kitchen equipment like this, and no one should try it until they're properly trained.
Okay, chefs, what's the most important thing to remember when you're making a ham sandwich?
That's right. Before you start, make sure the blade guard is in place and working properly. Nice bling, Iceman. But that chain could easily get caught in the machine.
Keep your hair and clothing safely away from any moving parts.
Delicious. It's time to clean up.
Not so fast, Heat.
Always shut down, zero out, and unplug machinery before cleaning or servicing.
And wear a cut-resistant glove with a vinyl cover to prevent contaminating other foods. As an extra precaution, use lockout, tagout procedures when equipment is directly wired to the breaker.
Make sure electrical cords and plugs are in good repair and equipment is grounded.
And keep outlets free of debris and grease.
Use extreme caution working around water and electricity.
And remember, any equipment that's near a potentially wet area must be on a GFCI system.
We've gotten pretty good about watching out for harmful chemicals in the foods we eat. But what about the chemicals we use to clean our kitchens? Drain cleaners, oven cleaners, ammonia, chlorine?
That stuff will kill you if you aren't careful.
Especially if you happen to mix them together.
For safety, keep a list of all the chemicals you use.
Make safety data sheets available to all employees and train them on how to read labels and use chemicals safely.
Okay, time for our chemical safety pop quiz. Let's see if our chefs know which hazards these pictograms represent. Ready?
Yeah, in your face.
Nice job, chefs. Now, which of these is a good way to store diluted disinfectant?
Point goes to the heat for picking the properly labeled container. Remember, never store chemicals in unlabeled containers.
Final question. When handling hazardous chemicals, which of the following precautions is not recommended? A. Use hand and eye protection. B. Wash your hands after use. C. Provide an emergency eye wash station. D. Toss the container when you're done. Yes, be sure to check the label, safety data sheet, and local regulations before disposing of hazardous chemicals or containers.
And the heat melts the Iceman in round 3.
We've come to the end of today's competition. It's time to find out which chef will be the overall points champion. The Iceman kept his cool under fire, but he struggled in the second round and nearly choked in round 3. The Heat got off to a shaky start, but she came back strong in round 2 and really cut to the chase at the end. Wow, it looks like she smoked the competition. Be safe, and thanks for watching Kitchen Safety Showdown.
Okay. So a review of material and as well starting to launch us into food safety and sanitation. Okay. We have wrapped up the quiz, right? We've completed that as of Friday, and we've started to see good progress on completion. But for those of you that did not complete it on Friday because you weren't here or just simply because you didn't complete it during the scheduled class time, I'd ask that you leverage that today before I do a grade entry on the latter part of the day, okay, in order for that to be reflected in your grade and skyward, all right? Right now, we're going to go ahead and again, lean into food safety and sanitation principles. This is what our week 4 overview looks like. You'll see content. I'll add the recorded lectures as well to this listing, and you'll see that on the slide, or I should say the format in Google Classroom for week 4, okay? The other thing that we're going to be doing, you'll see every Monday, I'll be announcing to you what we're completing for Ruby. Okay, so Ruby is the online platform. I briefly introduced you to Ruby when we started with the course orientation quiz. You created a login and password for Ruby, and now we'll be doing our first assessment. The first two assessments in Ruby, the food safety assessment that both intro classes complete, is a little bit lengthy. So we're going to have some time dedicated to that this week so you can complete it during the scheduled class time. This should not be something you need to do at home. I'll give you ample time to work on it here. And then for the culinary arts students, they'll move ahead and do the intro to knife skills, the knife skills course in Ruby. And that one is a longer course as well. Once we complete those two courses, we move down to what are called lessons in Ruby, and they're much shorter, much more abbreviated. You'll spend between maybe 10 to 20 minutes a week on Ruby. So it's a very simple platform. You'll get into the content, you'll watch the videos, do the interactive activities, and this is what will serve as a foundation of knowledge development in the class, much like a textbook would. And then I'll reinforce it with demonstrations, theory from a lecture perspective, and then obviously the most important part of our program, the application, the labs, okay? So this week we're going to be doing our hand washing lab, as I mentioned previously. So the hand washing lab, the goal is for you to have an opportunity to, again, lean into the slat, and you'll see right here, lab slat, that'll be posted on the assignment, okay? And so you'll lean into that, and listen closely on this. All I want you to do for this first lab is to simply take 2 pictures of you washing your hands. So you're going to use your Chromebook for that. And we're going to, again, do this in the scheduled class time. You're going to just demonstrate that you're aware. You could be washing your hands here or elsewhere. I don't care. But what I'm trying to do is increase your awareness about hand washing. And then I want you to get into the slat and learn how to import pictures into it. So you're going to simply take 2 pictures and you're going to put them on the 2 slides on the S slide. So if I'm just going to go ahead and open up the slat right now and show you what this looks like specifically, so that you understand more clearly. So you're not doing the whole slat. I'm not even necessarily asking you at this point to complete the cover page for the slat. You can do that. You'll need to complete. So you'll see here the cover page. You'll have your individual picture and your team picture. You can complete those this week, or starting next week, I'll require that. But all you're going to do is go down to the S slide, okay, right here. And you're going to take your pictures. Look at the screen closest to you. Okay, you're going to click on this, and you're going to upload your picture. Okay, you input the 2 pictures on the S slide, and that's all I'm asking you to do this week. The goal was to get into the slat, to learn how to import a picture. Okay, all right. So you'll simply follow this standard, but basically you don't even have to do the reflection. I just want you to import 2 pictures into the S slide. That'll be your requirement for the lab this week. Okay, talking about food handler's card. I mentioned that previously. Here's my dog helping my daughter who works at Starbucks doing the food handler's card. He, for whatever reason, likes doing this. This in football, and when the Netflix logo turns on, he gets pretty excited. So here he is helping my oldest do her food handler's card test. Okay, here's a little bit of safety and sanitation humor here, right? Frosty gets caught picking his nose. Right? That's good, you guys. Dad humor right there at its best. Get it? Frosty's picking his nose, right? Frosty, you shouldn't do that, right? Okay, you're going to notice, as I said last week, for kitchen safety and operations, the posters on the west side of the classroom, okay, are there as content, bless you, are there as content for you to resource all of the time, okay? So you had the kitchen safety and operations content, the sort of yellow and white posters on the left side of the west wall, and then on the northwest corner of the wall, you see the most critical food safety posters. There's also some food safety and food handling posters in the back room, because that's where all the food is stored, okay? So you're welcome to reference those all of the time, okay? I want to talk really quickly about glove use and hand washing, and then we're going to sort of give you some time to lean into Ruby. I just want to cover this slide and a couple other things, and then about hand washing, and then I'll give you time to work on your Ruby. So glove use, first and foremost, is not a substitution, okay, for hand washing. Okay, glove use is not a good substitution for hand washing. Hand washing should be happening on a regular basis in this class and when you work in the industry or even when you're cooking food at home. You know, hot, soapy water, lathered is super important, okay? But putting gloves on does not replace, all right, the use of washing your hands.
There's these people on TikTok and they like to make potatoes and they don't wear gloves. They just wash their hands.
All right, yeah, well, there's no problem cutting a potato. A potato is not a potentially hazardous food. So the people on TikTok, they're doing okay, all right? But thanks for bringing that up. Okay, do not wear gloves away from your station. So if you leave your station, okay, or if you go to the restroom, it's really an imperative. I always say take your chef coat off because I don't want your chef coats in the restroom, okay? And I always say take your gloves off, okay? It's like if you're in a restaurant and you see a server with gloves on, that's not, or you see somebody handling cash with gloves on and then they go make your sandwich, right? That's pretty gross. So it's really an imperative to take your gloves off as soon as you move from your station. Gloves are required for ready-to-eat food contact. What does that mean? So you can use utensils like tongs and spoons, but any food that's ready to be served, whether it's cooked or whether it's raw, okay, whether it be salad or tomatoes, those are both raw, you need to use gloves in the state of Washington or use utensils, okay? But you shouldn't be touching ready-to-eat food in the restaurant industry, okay? And if it's hot food, if it's a hamburger ready to be served or if it's French fries ready to be served, you shouldn't have direct contact. Use utensils, okay, to prepare them. You'll see if you go to Starbucks and you'll watch them, you know, take the sandwich out of the bag with tongs, put it in the oven, close it, you know, warm it up. They'll open it and again, take it out and put it into a bag without any contact. And so mitigating contact is the first way, the best defense to us ensuring that we're serving first safe food to our guests, okay? Consider your nails. Your nails need to be clean and cut, okay? Consider also jewelry needs to be kept at a minimum, okay? Super important to avoid any type of cross-contamination. As mentioned previously, when you sing the happy birthday song, when you're washing your hands, how many times do you sing it? 2 times, okay? Good job. So you want to sing the happy birthday song 2 times. Double wash, as I said, your hands. When you go to the restroom, wash your hands once there. Come back in here, wash your hands again thoroughly, okay? Wash your hands after you work with chemicals. If you touch the broom and sweep and mop. If you're taking out the trash or compost, you need to wash your hands. You're touching doorknobs, you're touching trash cans. If you touch your cell phone, your hair, your Chromebook, paper towel dispenser, doorknob. Paper towel dispenser, I will say, it's a little bit tough. What I recommend is rather than touching it with your hand, just extend your wrist out and crank that down. Hopefully, when we do the remodel, we'll finally have sensor motion detected paper towel dispensers. Okay. When you open your Chromebook, as I said, when you touch the doorknob, your face, your hair, pen, pencil, all of that requires, okay, you to wash your hands. Okay. As I said, glove use needs to happen for ready-to-eat foods. Okay. It doesn't need to have, you don't need to have gloves on necessarily when you're working with protein, okay? If you're working with raw chicken, pork, beef, seafood, whatever it might be, that's not a requirement to have gloves. Why is that not required? Huh? Yeah, because you're going to cook it, okay? So a lot of the time people have a preference to wearing gloves because they don't like feeling the raw protein, okay? But there's no requirement for you to have gloves on when you're dealing with raw food. It's ready-to-eat food that you need to consider using gloves. Here's a quick demo by Alton Brown. This was done during COVID, but it's a good informative video that I'm going to show you, and then we're going to wrap up and give you some time to get into your Chromebook and work on Ruby.
And we're back in third quarter planning. Adams is quarterbacking this.
Greetings, humankind. As we stand on the precipice of annihilation, I just want to say I'm happy that someone finally wants to talk about hand washing. I've been wanting to do a hand washing video for 20 years, but everybody was like, oh no, hygiene's boring. Do cheese pulls. Well, what do you think is going to save us now? Cheese pulls, nanorobots, lasers, hot yoga? I don't think so. What might just save us is the yardstick of civilization. Soap, okay? Not sanitizers, not the stuff you've been fighting over in drugstore parking lots, but good old-fashioned soap. And here's why. First, when you lather up your mitts with soap and water, you release Amphiphiles, molecules in soap that have hydrophilic or water-loving heads and hydrophobic or water-hating tails, which means these guys can hold things together that don't naturally get along, like oil and water. Okay, now if you're a Good Eats fan, you'll recognize this as an emulsifier, which is not to say that when you wash your hands, you're making salad dressing, although it is kind of like salad dressing. All right, look, here is the part that's important. Let's say you get a nasty on you, maybe coronavirus, okay? It probably arrived in something gooey like spit or snot or something greasy that got flung up on you or you picked up when you touched something you shouldn't. However you got it, now you're stuck with it. But with proper agitation, amphiphiles in soap water can emulsify with this nastiness, removing it from your skin and escorting it down the drain. But wait, there's actually more. A virus, like coronavirus, is protected by a kind of coat made of fat-like substances, and soap's amphiphiles can just literally take hold of that coat and pull it away, leaving the virus feeling naked and afraid, and mostly dead. Okay? Now, alcohol-based sanitizers can kill viruses, but since they can't emulsify the nastiness that you got on your hands, they can't physically remove the viruses or even actually reach them all, which is why I count on soap. Meet me at the sink. All right, let me say right up front, liquid soap is okay, but bar soap is more efficient, not to mention less impactful on the environment. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, bacteria can get on the bar. Yeah, but there's never been proof ever that a bar has reinfected someone, because after all, bacteria and viruses hate soap. Now, here's the regiment that I follow when I'm traveling or when I'm beset by a global pandemic. I carry my soap with me in a little tin because I don't know what's in that nasty pump bottle at the airport. And no, this is not antibacterial soap because antibacterial soap is useless for reasons we'll discuss another time. Also, I carry with me a bag, a zip top of paper towels because proper drying can help reduce bacterial and virus populations. And I don't like that hot jet thing on the wall at the airport that blows like poop air on you. Okay? Now, you've heard about the 20-second wash rule. We'll say hello to the 30-second wash rule. All right, hot or cold water, doesn't matter. If you turn on the water with your arm, that's fine. If not, use your hand. You're going to wash it anyway. Now, okay, get your hands nice and wet, grab the soap, and vigorously lather for a 5 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, soap down. Now, wring your hands like Mr. Burns for a 5 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now work the back of each hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, then curl your fingers like this and go after the nails. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in between your fingers for a final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now rinse the soap. Put that back in the box. And then rinse the hands for a good 5 seconds. This is critical if you want the nasty stuff off of you and down the drain. All right, turn off the water without direct contact if you can, or you could dry if you must and then use the towel to turn off the water, but that does waste a bit of water. So, I lied. It was more like 45 seconds, and I do this like 5 times a day, and you know what? I feel fine. Now, is this method guaranteed to keep your hands virus-free? No.
Okay, quick overview of effective hand washing. I'll demo that as well later on in the week. I'm going to go ahead and give you time. You're going to get into Ruby. I'm going to show you really quickly how to leverage Ruby, and I'm going to give you time to get into it. So we'll have about 10 or 15 minutes. So watch the video here closest to your
Hello, Culinary Arts
Chromebook
students.
out,
This is Chef Fritz giving you a quick
So again, we're getting the Chromebooks out. You can start logging in while the video is playing.
overview on how to begin the course registration process in Ruby. So I'm going to walk you through how to register for the first course that you're going to be taking this semester, and that's going to consist of the food safety course in Ruby. And so once you're logged in, you're going to go ahead and go to the course gallery. And in the course gallery, you're going to find all the courses that are accessible in our subscription. You're going to scroll right down to the food safety course.
And you're going to find this course actually by default, because I set it up this way, it actually shows up in your My Courses already. Okay, so you don't need to worry about moving it over and registering for it. All you want to do is go to My Courses and select Start Course. Okay,
click on the food safety course, just click on the large icon. And then at that point, as I said, you've got sort of the library up.
So it says right here, enroll now. Yours probably, because I've already enrolled you, is going to say start. Just going to say start on a button right here.
Here, and basically we're checking out a course, and once you hit enroll now or for a course, or you hit start for a lesson, that course is then going to reside in your My Courses, and if it's a lesson, in your My Lessons category. That will ensure that you have the course or lesson designated for you as part.
All right, this is what your screen will look like once you're in My Courses. Okay, it should auto enroll you, and it's going to say start course right here. Once you start course, then it'll show up in your dashboard all the time.
Of your learning experience, and then it'll be able to be graded and completed and assessed on my end. Okay. If you have any questions, I guess one other thing that I want to mention is after you do that, all you'll do is click Start Course, right? Or you click on, in this case, I hit Start Course, and you're going to see the unit overview. And this is going to give you sort of a play-by-play for every task in the course. To begin the course, you just hit task 1. And as I said in the earlier video, you just go ahead and pursue the content.
So look at the screen really quickly just to pick this up. This is important that you're checking your way through the course as you're working through it. So watch this.
Peruse the content, read, watch videos and the like. Once you're done with that, you will click on the task 1 complete.
So you'll click right here in the bottom left that you've completed that particular task, and then you'll move forward with the next task.
And then you'll go ahead and move to clicking next as the sort of the next step in the process. So right here, I would just click next right there and move on to the next portion of the course content and do that until the course is completed. So this is how you register for. Or
now the other thing that I want to make mention of is sometimes Ruby asks you to do a lab. Okay, you don't have to do Ruby's lab. You don't have to submit pictures to Ruby because you do that with me. Okay, so your labs take place with me and the SLAT. Okay, so you do not need to do Ruby's cooking lab or Ruby's hand washing lab. You just need to work through the content. So just skip that lab. You won't be graded down for not completing it. Okay.
Or specifically select a course or lesson within Ruby and put it then into your My Courses or My Lessons. So this is sort of the general library area, and here is the specific library area to your particular assignments. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Thanks so much. Have a good semester.
All right, and I will talk about how to submit your scores for Ruby. I'll talk about that later on this week, so you know how to submit your final score. So with that, I'm going to release you to get into Ruby and start working through the first, the food safety course in Ruby, your first assignment in Ruby. Okay, if you have any questions, come on up and see me. Thank you very much, and have a great week.